So how much money do you need to retire? Well, let's quickly do the calculation. If you can live off $1,000 a month, that's $12,000 in a year. What you do is you take 12,000, and you times it by 25. That gives us $300,000. You could retire on $300,000 if you only spend $1,000 a month. How does that work? Well, we're going to jump straight in. Just need to clarify that this is not financial advice. This is just stuff that I wish I knew a whole lot earlier. All right, so, well, how does this work? If you save money from when you start doing your career until you reach 65, you should have enough money to retire, in which case you've worked the majority of your life so that you can now stop working. But really, do we really want to wait till 65? Can't we do that sooner? Well, actually you can. So let's work out how much you need. So what you do is you take how much money you need every month to live. Let's just, for instance sake, let's go up to $2,000. So how do we do that? So you take $2,000 every month, that's $24,000 a year. 24,000 times 25, that gives us $600,000. Meaning if you had $600,000 in the bank, growing at a rate of 8%, which is about average for the stock market, you could never have to work again and live off the interest of the $2,000 a month. So how exactly does it work in the details? Well, what happens is that if you have money in the bank and it is growing, remember it needs to grow to be able to make interest. So on average, like a normal index fund can grow at about 8% on average. So if I have $300,000 or $600,000 in an index fund and it is growing at 8%, all you have to do is withdraw 4% from that each and every year. So 4% of 600,000 is $24,000, which means is that if my 300 or my 600,000 is growing at 8% and I'm only drawing out 4%, it's still growing at 4%. So I'm never actually using any capital. I'm only withdrawing 4% out of the 8. This accounts for inflation. Quite simple. So how do we work out how much you're going to need? So you take how much you spend in a year. So what are your needs? What is your living cost per year? Obviously, if you're very frugal and you don't spend very much money, you only need less money. If you're living on $1 million a year, you're going to have to save $25 million. That's just unrealistic. So whatever you need in a year, you times that by 25, and that is how much you need in a bank account that is on an index fund of some sort, or stocks, whatever you choose to buy, that's growing at about average of 8%, and you are only taking out 4%, you can live off the interest and never have to work again. If you're saving more money, if your savings ratio, so what percentage of your salary you're saving increases, you can obviously hit retiring much sooner. It's important to note that when I say retire sooner, I don't mean stop working. I mean you no longer have to work for money. You're no longer driven or motivated by money. You're motivated by your passion, dreams, and whatever else you want to do. So let's say from the age of 20, you're probably older than 20 by now, but let's say 20 years old and you put away $500 a month. Growing at 8%, you will reach $300,000, roughly $300,000 by the time you're 40. That is 25 years before 65. So if you were to put $1,000 away every month, for 15 years, you can reach $300,000, meaning that if you start at the age of 20, by the time you hit 35, you could essentially retire from your job. Man, I wish I knew this sooner. I would take my savings ratio far more seriously and I would have started putting away money in the right place. So in our next video, we will be discussing what is that right place. And just to clarify, this is not financial advice. This is just something I wish I knew a long time ago.